In this video, I will be grounding for 7 days and documenting my experience. Join me for this journey. So for the last couple months, I unfortunately seem to be stuck in a season of sickness. I fell ill at the end of February, was better for a few days, and then unfortunately was exposed to someone who had the flu, and then I got the flu. And I've been dealing with residual congestion and just, some chest congestion, some nasal congestion. So in general, my body's just needing some TLC and some love. So it was a few months ago that I came across the idea of grounding, and I thought it sounded pretty interesting as someone who loves the outdoors and understands the healing powers of nature. And then I came across a free documentary on YouTube on grounding. So after watching that, it really inspired me to want to dabble more into grounding because it seems really beneficial, especially for inflammation. And obviously my body has been pretty inflamed lately with being sick. So grounding is something you can do outside, absolutely, getting your bare feet on the ground. Obviously that's not always able to happen if the weather is bad, if you can't be outside all the time, if you have work to do. So with all that being considered, I decided that I wanted to buy a grounding product. So there are different products out there that you can use for grounding in your home, and essentially they work by plugging in this grounding product into a plug and an outlet into your wall, and then that item becomes grounded, and you can therefore experience all the benefits of grounding from inside of your home. So I'm going to be doing a little grounding experiment with my new grounding product. I purchased a grounding mat, and my goal is to try it out consistently for 7 days and to share my opinions and experience with you all. So I'm really excited. I really think it will help me get rid of some of this residual inflammation from being sick. And I love that the grounding mat is something I can use while I'm working all day. If you think about it, you have around 8 hours a day that you're sitting at a desk if you have a desk job, and I can be grounding for that entire time. So as beautiful and nurturing and healing as it is to ground outside, it's just not always as realistic and attainable. So I'm really excited to try out this grounding mat and see what my experience is. So I'll be documenting the experience, sharing my insights, so stay tuned. So day 1 of grounding, and my plan is to be able to ground all day as I am working. So I set up my grounding pad at my desk, and it's right under my feet, so I'll be able to utilize it while I'm working. So it's the end of grounding day 1, and I'm feeling good. I feel like it feels similar to how it feels when I ground outside and put my feet on the ground, except I was able to feel like that all day with my mat while I was working. So obviously still very early, only day 1, but we will see what the other days bring. So after doing some grounding during my workday, I decided to also fit in some extra grounding that evening before bedtime. Just wanted to check in and share the way I feel when my feet are on this grounding mat. So I've never used a grounding mat or product before, so I'm not sure if you're supposed to feel different or feel something, but I will say that as soon as my feet hit the mat, it feels like there's like this gentle, almost tingling sensation in my feet. And it doesn't feel alarming or anything. It doesn't feel like when your feet are asleep, but it just feels kind of like a comforting, gentle tingle, if that makes sense. I honestly wasn't expecting to feel anything just having my feet on the mat. I thought it would just feel normal, but yeah, there does feel like it's almost like a conductive energy feeling, like maybe it's an energy exchange that's happening from the grounding mat on my feet. because the whole point of grounding is that you're getting, the energy and healing from the earth, like that effect. So yeah, I definitely feel something. So I guess that's encouraging. I also just wanted to share a little bit about the documentary that I watched that inspired me to buy a grounding product. So it's actually called The Earthing Movie, and I came across it because it was actually free to me to watch on YouTube, which is really cool. And it was a very fascinating documentary. I found it really interesting. There's a man named Clint Overman who was the creator behind this whole grounding theory. He worked in electricity, and he started thinking about how every time you plug something into an outlet, you're grounding that thing to the earth. And knowing all the benefits of nature, he thought it would be interesting to design a product that can help people to ground, and just in general start teaching people about grounding in nature, even without products, just going outside in your bare feet and the positive effects that can have. And there's so many people who have had these amazing benefits in their health from practicing grounding on a regular basis. Everything from weight loss to chronic inflammation disappearing, to better blood flow, to a decrease in their diseases and illnesses that they have dealt with for years and years and years. So it was really fascinating and really intrigued me. And I just know personally how much I benefit from nature whenever I'm outside, just breathing in fresh air. And when I do have a day where I can be barefoot outside, if it's a nice enough day and I can stand on top of the earth, I just know how good that makes me feel. So the idea of grounding is really not something that seems so far-fetched to me. Like, it makes a lot of logical sense to me. So I figured, why not try it with this grounding mat and then see what results I have from it. So that's what kind of inspired this whole experiment. So if you want to check out the Earthing Movie, see if you can access it on YouTube. If not, I'm sure there's other platforms you can access it from, but it really is a very informative and inspiring documentary to watch. So I highly, highly recommend it. Good morning and happy Wednesday. I am just out for my morning walk with my dog Remy. Today is going to be day 2 of my grounding mat experience. So just a couple notes about yesterday. Yesterday I was able to ground during my workday for a bit, and then I decided to do some extra grounding in the evening as well. I was just kind of exploring YouTube, watching some videos on my computer, so I thought, hey, I'll just do some extra grounding while I am winding down for the night. And then I was able to go to sleep after about 2 extra hours of grounding. And I will say that I didn't have the best sleep last night, which was kind of surprising to me, because the one thing people say about grounding is that it usually makes you sleep really well, but my sleep wasn't the best. I did wake up around 3:30 in the morning, which usually doesn't happen to me. I usually sleep pretty well. But after that 3:30 wake up, I was able to go back to sleep, and then I felt actually really good waking up this morning. The past few days I've been dealing with some chest congestion, and I don't feel it as much this morning. I feel good enough to go for a walk, so I feel like that's a positive. So we will see what day 2 brings me. Really trying to soak up this beautiful day today, because tomorrow and the next day it's supposed to be a little dicey. It's supposed to cool down a bit. We're supposed to have a mix of snow and rain. So today's supposed to be really beautiful. So I'm going to try as much as I can today to take my outdoor nature breaks in between work. And of course, in between that, I will be using my grounding mat. So I plan to get a lot of grounding accomplished today. taking a midday work break because it is beautiful and sunny and so warm outside, and something that can't be replicated when you're grounding inside with a grounding product is being able to get vitamin D. So we still need to go outside to be able to do that. So I'm just taking some time to relax around my lunchtime, just to soak in some sun, and yeah, feels good. So it's day 2 of practicing grounding, and to be honest, I'm just not having a very great day. I feel like some of the congestion I've been experiencing is kind of coming up, which hasn't made me feel really great, but at the same time, I know that when you have congestion, that starts feeling like it's kind of getting worse and then gonna get better. Like, that process has to happen where things have to come up to get it out of your system. So I don't know if I can contribute all of that to the grounding, but I do know that the process of healing is happening and evolving, and I'm just going to keep supporting my body through getting through the residual part of this congestion that I've been experiencing after having the flu. And yeah, I'm going to keep believing that the grounding is maybe helping and just continue my experiment. So yeah, that's my recap for the end of day 2, and then tomorrow's day 3, so I will see you for a check-in then. Interesting update. I read that this could be a thing, that your animals start feeling attracted to wanting to be on the mat, because animals, especially dogs like little Remy here, are very grounded naturally because they go on walks every day, and unlike humans, they don't have to wear shoes. So I've read that dogs can feel naturally compelled to want to be on your mat with you. This is the first time this has happened, and I feel like we're sharing this experience. This is so cute. You grounding with your mommy? You're so cute. This is so cool. I wonder if Remy's feeling compelled to ground with me because the weather's not really nice today outside, so he hasn't really got to spend a lot of time outside. It's like icy. We just got snow out of nowhere after having these like beautiful sunny warm days. So I wonder if he wants to ground today because he hasn't spent much time outside. Interesting. So end of day 3 of grounding recap. I woke up this morning feeling a little congested, not really feeling my best, and I decided to do my grounding a little bit different today. So the past 2 days I've been doing it as soon as I wake up and start my work day, and today I didn't ground until after lunchtime. And I didn't feel that great in the morning, but I felt really great after grounding after lunchtime in the afternoon. So it's definitely a cool thing. I think it's cool to just start being able to notice patterns of different ways that I'm feeling depending on when I'm grounding. And yeah, it's just really interesting experiment so far. So I'm excited to keep it going. On day 4, I decided to try something new with my grounding routine, which was doing my grounding while I was doing my morning meditation. So That was a very interesting experience, grounding while meditating. I hadn't tried that before today. Normally I meditate with my legs crossed, like in a seated position, legs crossed. That's how I normally sit. But obviously to use the grounding mat, I had to have my feet on the ground for this meditation. So I did that, and then I had my hands facing up to receive. And it was a very interesting and cool meditation this morning, because normally I do feel tingles throughout my body when I'm meditating, but I specifically felt very strong pulsating in my feet. So it was almost like the energy that I normally get from the grounding mat was amplified even more because of the meditation and the energy that puts you in when you meditate. So that was a very cool feeling, to feel this like pulsating, energetic feeling in my feet while I was meditating. And I also felt a lot more energy than I normally do with my hands. So I just had my hands facing up, but I could feel a lot of energy radiating from my hands as well. So I do feel like meditating with the grounding mat, I could see why people do it, because I just feel like it amplifies your ability to really ground into the practice and get the full experience out of it. So that was definitely a cool experience, and I will be doing that again in the future, grounding while I meditate. It's a really, really awesome feeling, and I liked it. And just for some context of how it's going, this is day 4, and I am feeling really good. Actually, last night was the best night's sleep I've had since I started grounding, so that was really nice to have a really refreshing sleep, because I have been struggling with sleep lately because of the congestion that I've been experiencing. So it was really nice to be able to sleep well and not wake up a bunch of times in the middle of the night. So that was great. And yeah, we're on day 4, so we're almost halfway through the experiment of the 7 days of intentional grounding with my grounding mat. So I will share how I feel later on today as I continue to ground. So after starting day 4 with my meditation while grounding, I then had breakfast while grounding and went through my workday doing grounding throughout that as well. It was a snowy day, so I didn't really get to spend a lot of time outside. So as you can see, Remy decided to join me again for some grounding on my mat. And that was all the footage I got for day 4. So on day 5, I didn't really capture a lot of footage because I didn't get to do that much grounding that day. It was a Saturday and I had errands to run for most of the day, so I wasn't at home very much to practice grounding, but something pretty cool happened that day. I had been experiencing inflammation in one specific area of my body all day that day. It was a nagging pain that lasted for hours, and when I got home that night, I decided that I wanted to do some grounding to see if it would help. I started grounding at 7 p.m. and by 7:15, only 15 minutes later, that inflamed area of my body that I had been feeling pain with all day faded away completely. I thought it was very cool, and I felt like the pain and inflammation disappearing was directly a result of the grounding session that I had. It was the first time during this experiment that I felt like I was actually able to reduce pain and inflammation in my body by just doing grounding. That's the day I felt like this stuff is really working. On day 6, it was a Sunday, and after having a very busy, jam-packed Saturday, I felt like I just had to take this day to relax and recharge. Hello and happy Sunday. We are on day 6 of grounding. I had a pretty busy day yesterday, both just mentally and physically, a little bit busy, so it's Sunday and it feels very fitting that today feels like a day for rest. So I started grounding this morning with my meditation, did that for about an hour, took a little break, and now I'm just doing an extra little bit of grounding, and I'm really feeling into the grounding energy today. I feel like I just need to take today to take in some relaxation, and grounding helps me relax. So I am grounding not only with my mat today, but I also have some hot cacao, which is a very grounding drink. So I am drinking my cacao while I am grounding. And I swear I didn't even plan this, but the mug I just happened to grab for my hot cacao today says "Bloom where you are planted," as I am planted with my feet on my grounding mat. I just found that kind of funny. It's like the energy of grounding is just so strong today that even the mug I chose is very fitting for it. Incoming super surreal moment. So I've been grounding for the last couple hours, and I received a reply on one of the comments that I left on someone's YouTube video, and it was from the Catherine Zankina, the Manifestation Babe. If you haven't heard of her, look her up. She is a manifestation master. She is such an inspiration to me in my life. I've participated in so many of her master classes and things that she offers. I have her book, so needless to say, she's such an inspiration to me. And while I was grounding, I saw that she replied to a comment I left on one of her recent videos, and it was just honestly the most amazing comment that I've ever gotten. It was so sweet, so genuine. It made me feel so happy. Oh my god, I'm still reeling from it clearly, but I find it so cool that I read that comment and got to take in those beautiful words from her and feel so good while I was using my grounding mat too. So I honestly just take that as a sign from the universe that the grounding I've been doing is a positive thing, that documenting this experience is a positive thing, that maybe this video is going to be the thing that helps me to grow my channel. So yeah, I love it. So after having a super amazing day, just really relaxing and utilizing the powers of grounding, I ended my night by doing a little bit of grounding before bed, and that was the end of day 6. So it's finally day 7 of my grounding experiment, the final day. And this morning I started by doing a meditation while using my grounding mat, because I found that's something I've learned this last week, is that that's my favorite way to ground, is while I'm meditating. So I feel like I get to deeper immerse myself in the experience. But I woke up today with some stiffness in my shoulders because I had some knots in my shoulders that I asked my husband to help me try to loosen up yesterday, and he did loosen them up, but now as a result my shoulders are kind of like sore. So my focus today was to see if, when I did my grounding today, if it would maybe reduce some of that inflammation in my shoulders. So through my meditation and through the last half an hour after it, I've been grounding this whole time, so about 45 minutes, and I do feel like the tension in my shoulders has eased up a little bit. So I know one of the great things about grounding, one of the great benefits, is that it's supposed to reduce inflammation. So I think I can successfully say that I have experienced that. And even last night, actually, because of the changing weather and everything, I had some pressure in my sinuses up here, and that was right before bed. So I thought I'll do a little grounding before bed just to see if it helps ease it up. And I actually did. I grounded for only about 20 minutes before I went to bed, but I felt so gently and so easily the sinus pressure just starting to reduce until it went away, which was great, because then I was able to have a really great and relaxing sleep last night. So yeah, I think as far as the claims of grounding being great for inflammation and reducing inflammation. I would say just in my short time doing this experiment, whenever I have been feeling inflamed in any area of my body and I've turned to grounding and using my mat, it's actually been helpful, and it's reduced some of the pain and the inflammation that were in those areas. So I would definitely say that I have experienced that, and that's one of the main benefits that I've experienced. So I'm going to get through this last day of grounding, gathering my thoughts, and then I will share a final recap at the end of my findings and aha moments that I had throughout this week, sharing the pros and cons. So I'll be back to check in later with that. So today's day 7, the final day of my grounding experiment, and I did some grounding this morning with my meditation, which was great. And now it's evening. I just had a shower, and I had a little bit of a stressful day, not going to lie. There's a lot of things going on in my personal life right now that are just crazy, just a lot of things going on. So I'm feeling the stress now that, it's coming to the end of the day. So I thought, what perfect time to do some extra grounding and to just settle into relaxation a few hours before bed. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I've reached the end of my 7-day grounding experiment. So even though I've been sharing some updates throughout the 7 days with my little check-in vlogs, I just wanted to do one last video to summarize the pros and cons that I found over the last 7 days of using this grounding mat. So for those of you that just want the Coles Notes, this part of the video is for you. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the pros. So the first pro is that it's an easy thing for me to do during my workday. I have a job where I have to sit for many hours of the day, so just having my feet planted on the grounding mat while I'm working was not something that was very hard for me to do. So when it comes to creating a new habit, forming a new routine, it's definitely something that's easy to do. So I appreciated that part of it. The next pro is that it felt very relaxing and supportive. I mentioned throughout my journey with grounding the way it actually felt using the grounding mat. I had this very light tingling sensation in my feet when my feet were planted on the mat, and I actually found that to feel very soothing, and I really enjoyed that sensation. Pro number 3 is I loved the idea that I was doing something supportive for my health and wellness while I was working. I'm someone who loves personal growth and supporting my health and wellness. Just knowing that this grounding mat could help me potentially feel better and lead a healthier life, and it's something that I'm multitasking and doing while I'm working, just made me feel really good. I love the idea of just knowing that I was connected to the earth while I was indoors. I just think that's a really awesome and cool concept. So that's probably one of my favorite things about the grounding mat. As someone who really loves nature and loves feeling connected to nature and the earth, I just love that I have this product that allows me to feel that way even when I am inside and can't be outside. I feel like it did help with my inflammation. That's one of my other pros that I have, is that there was a few times throughout this week where I had different feelings of signs of inflammation. So whether it was my sinuses that were feeling inflamed or blocked, or I had a sore muscle like tenseness in my shoulders, I feel like when I felt those ways and decided that I was actually going to just sit down and do some grounding, within the hour I did actually feel better when I intentionally sat down and did the grounding for the intention of reducing some of that inflammation. So I feel like that was definitely a pro for me. And the last surprising pro that I wanted to share that I wasn't expecting was that it actually helped with my posture. So I'm someone who has a desk. This is my work office area that I sometimes work at, but just being an at-home worker, sometimes I like to just cozy up in a loungy chair and work from there as well. And when I tend to do that, I don't always have the best posture because I'm usually sitting cross-legged or in a weird kind of way. Whereas when I was using the grounding mat, I had to consciously have good posture because I had to have both of my feet planted on the floor, which consequently helped my shoulders be straighter and helped me sit up taller. So that was the most surprising pro that I found from the week, was that my posture improved as a result from using the grounding mat. Okay, now for some of the cons, because you can't have pros without having cons. I want to be very transparent about the experience and also share some of the things that weren't super ideal that I didn't love. So my first con is that sometimes my feet just got cold. I like to work from the basement level of my house a lot, and as a result, being in the lower level and that floor not having carpeting, sometimes it's just colder down there, especially for my feet. And to properly be able to ground, you shouldn't have socks on, you should just have your bare feet. So I found sometimes during the grounding process, when I was in the lower level of my house, my feet would actually get kind of cold, and I'd have to kind of make myself reminded that I have to have more circulation and move my feet around more, because when I was trying to ground on the mat, I was so hyper focused on just keeping my feet grounded the whole time that sometimes I forgot to wiggle my toes and kind of move around. So sometimes as a result, my feet would get cold. So I would say that was one of the cons for me. And the second con, if you can call it a con, I feel like it's kind of con, is that a grounding mat, I feel like, can never replace actual grounding outside in nature, outdoors. I feel like the different elements and benefits that you get from grounding outside with your bare feet on the ground, like actually grounding to the earth and feeling that connection, and also getting sunshine and vitamin D as a result of being outside, those are some feelings that cannot completely be replaced by using a grounding mat. But I will say that it is a really great secondary option if you don't have the option to be outside all the time, or if the weather is bad. Sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's snowy and cold, and you can't always ground outside. So I appreciate the mat for that purpose, but it still will never fully replace the feeling of being grounded outside on the actual earth. For me, nothing can completely replace that feeling of being outdoors and that connection with nature and how it makes me feel. Overall, I really enjoyed my grounding experiment using my grounding mat. I feel like I learned a lot and had some great experiences. I will definitely keep using my grounding mat in the future as a resource to support my wellness and connect to the earth while indoors. If you're interested in learning more about grounding and purchasing a mat of your own, be sure to check out the links in the description below. Alright, so that's all for my 7-day grounding experiment video. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to please give it a like and subscribe to this channel so you can watch me with all my future health and wellness holistic hacks that I am going to try in the future. So thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.